So, Adam, I'm very curious, after your presentation about a major repackaging program for Motorola, you talk a little bit about what was it like from an internal point of view of getting buy-in from everybody? What kind of was there some sort of change management involved? What was kind of the cultural impact of going through this type of repackaging?
That's a good question. Early on we set out and we laid out the key stakeholders, and we made sure that they knew they were stakeholders and what they were buying into. Sometimes people want to contribute, but they don't want to be responsible for the end output. So we made sure that they knew that. We also had micro check-ins or frequent check-ins with the VP level all the way up to CEO level at times, which was more rare, but occasionally, so they understood what we were doing and how we were progressing. Though they might not be as close to the project, they understand the brand and where we want to take the brand and other things and where we're shooting for from a demographic level. And their feedback was important at times, because the other thing is you do want a new perspective. So again, we got the right people involved early, made sure we had the right check-ins, and then we also had, again, micro check-ins at the lower level as well, making sure that we weren't missing the boat, we weren't skewed too much by people's opinion in upper management, because what they say isn't necessarily what's best. So we had to balance all that to get it to work.
Okay. Any issues that came up along the way, or is there anything that caused any issues that you'd be willing to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, you always get issues about, for us, it's like the pattern, we call it the M pattern, like how is it going to be treated? How much is on the package so it's not too heavy? What is the color strategy if you have one? How we had a big issue on what color goes on what type of product.
Mm-hmm.
Do we do this? Do we do different colors for different types of phones or different types of devices and these types of things? And what we netted out as is there at the time was there is no color strategy. It's supposed to appear random. It's supposed to appear lighthearted and fun, and based on that type of product and how it's scaled. And that's how we built the strategy.
Okay, so there really wasn't any particular strategic decision on the colors or anything like that. It was more kind of let the design dictate it.
We set the rule that there was no rule.
Yeah.
Getting to that point is very difficult. That's not the usual type of thing.
Sure.
So we were getting people to understand that, well, it'll look different every time is not an easy story to sell, but it's visually compelling to a lot of consumers because we can do a lot with it. We have a lot more flexibility. So we had to sell the story of the flexibility in order to get the no rule.
Yeah. So do you think that at the end of the day, when the program was completed, that you maybe had some changed minds, or people saw the program in a different light, that maybe they may have been skeptical in the beginning, that they came around and saw the value?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was obviously when you see the end result and you see things lined up, people are very proud of the work and everybody that's contributed to it. It's everybody is in the end is looking for the same result. Everybody wants just to have really great product that can be proud of, really great packaging and stuff that the consumers are really going to buy and really going to like. So in the end, it kind of comes down to you're all aligned and you have this. It's the healthy tension that gets you there, and you have to look at it that way. It's healthy tension to get you the best results, and everybody kind of comes through in the end.
So if you're going to give anybody advice who's about to embark on a major program like this, and there's a lot of companies out there that are thinking about doing these types of things, what advice would you give them?
As I spoke of earlier, I think the important thing is to understand, get a lot of points of view, but understanding that a point of view isn't necessarily, you don't have to go on every point of view. You don't have to action every single one of them, but that doesn't mean that they're not valuable inputs and don't facilitate a really interesting discussion that could get you to a different point, right? So sometimes somebody will bring up something, it'll just trigger a different type of conversation or a design or something else. So it's important to get a variety of aspects, and I think sometimes projects go in too pigeonholed, and they try to, they want to keep away people that might be asking too many questions, and sometimes they're too broad, and they incorporate everyone's opinion, even if it maybe shouldn't be. So it's really trying to thread that needle, I think is the most important thing when you're really doing a project, because that way, you can get the most compelling and creative results without spending an entire company's resources getting there.
Sure. Okay. So, as a design guy, where do you see the role of design going in the business sector? It's evolved quite a bit over the years.
Yeah.
So, where do you think in the next few years, where do you think it's going to go?
I think it's hard to say. I mean, that's why we do a lot of our insights and our research, and we look into different consumers. It changes. Trying to predict that type of thing is almost, to me, I don't try to anymore. I think what you need to do is you need to take new information as it comes in, new data, and new trends, and incorporate them in real time. And I think really what we should be doing is building speed in that cycle in order to react faster, especially in the technology field, in technology range, because if I try to predict what's going to happen in 2 years, it'll either probably be done in 2 months or it might never get there. And so what I really try to do is we build upon quick reaction time to the data and the trends that we see in order to, instead of trying to predict them, at least in the packaging part of
Right.
the field, not the product necessarily.
Yeah. Do you make a lot of use of consumer insights?
Yeah, we do. We get we obviously for colors and graphics and how we want to present the product and what does how does it look on shelf and how does it look in a consumer set. Say if it's like a Best Buy, like how what does it look like and how does it feel compared to others? What does it look like in does it look as good in lighting in store lighting? And what do people think of that? If it's on the lowest shelf, is it the same as a lot of times things are presented on a desk
Right.
to somebody, and things look much different there than when they're pegged and you've got lines of products each way, right? So we do want to make sure we feel confident in decisions we're making in that respect.
Are you practicing rapid prototyping?
Yes, we do that. We try to do rapid prototypes. We obviously build our own paperboard samples and stuff as I presented. We'll print things and we'll make things and we'll test things and we'll tinker all we can to come up with something better and different and unique. And I think that should be part of every creative, just built into departments or built in. You should always be looking for the next best thing, or at least the next iteration of something that could be better, more refined, more palatable, better unboxing, whatever. We're always looking at those things. But a lot of times what comes with that is sometimes cost reduction, other efficiencies that, it's like a win-win situation, right? Less material, whatever. And we should always be looking for those things. I mean, not only just because it's the right thing to do, but because you get the environmental aspect. There's some other aspect as well.
Sure.
It helps.
So, one other question I have for you is, if you were to give advice to young people who are in design school now or want to come into the design field, what kind of advice would you give them?
I think it kind of comes down to me, and I'm an engineer by background, but I manage a design team and engineering team. So when I look at the total packaging thing, I would look at, or the packaging department, I look at just being able to react to, like I said before, new information very quickly and don't get set in your ways. A lot of engineers or people that design products or packages, they fall in love with their own concepts too early, or don't take the feedback well when something's too expensive, say. And I think that's the quicker that is learned, the better, because we all want the same result. We all want successful packaging, but we don't know what that end design is until we go through the whole process.
So having some business acumen under their belt would probably be a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, because no one designs and no one builds in a vacuum, right? I mean, we have the best design in the world, but if a product or package or anything is too expensive or doesn't meet the consumer need, then it's not going to hit the mark. So it's a learning process, but it's part of jobs as management and as business to help people get there as well, and help them learn and help them understand. And that's why real tight processes around design, iteration, review, and all that can really be helpful.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Adam.
Thank you.